Welcome to Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul, your home for self-defense and self-preservation since, that's right, it's still current year, 2016. The date is November 29th, 2016, and you're listening to the episode, Gun Control is Sexist. That's right, gun control is sexist. And we want to welcome our live listeners on Spreaker.com, as well as our syndicated provider, IPMNation.com. We've got some other stuff stored, possibly futurely, that might involve some Facebook live streams. But Dimitri is not with us. But the show must go on.
News Shooting Self-Defense presents a State of Wake joint. Grab your beer, your ammo, and your Clipozine Glockomatic as we take you through a full auto hour of fast, funny, deadly, serious talk about guns. If you cry when someone draws a picture of a gun on a piece of paper in front of you, you best stay away because you are about to enter a gun-filled zone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul.
That's right, I'm Paul, and this is Dimitri! Except he's not here, but the show goes on. So together we are Full Auto, and solo I am still Full Auto. On this show, we're going to talk about the issue of gender and gun control on Defense Assault in the Great Gender Equalizer. On Defense Assault, we'll look at the Ohio shooting and knife shooter assault. On Tac Tec, we talk new ammo in New Bang for your gun. And in Happy Ending, we'll help you learn this valuable lesson. Don't bring an airsoft gun to a gunfight. But before we begin, let's get you fully prepared, because it could get a little dangerous. Grab your seats, adjust your headphones, brace yourselves, for you are about to enter a full auto hour of a gun-filled zone.
I got my gangster guy here, yo. What up, cuz? Break yourself, break yourself, break yourself. Cuz.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks more than 3 rounds, and yet it's legal to hunt humans.
Say hello to my little friend.
Australia just said, well, that's it. We're not seeing that again, and imposed very severe, tough gun laws, and they haven't had a mass shooting since.
You know, semi-automatic weapons are not just about gun control, this is about national security. You know that these weapons can shoot down airplanes.
Break yourself, break yourself, break yourself.
The big difference between an assault rifle and a hunting rifle is, frankly, the scope that one puts on it, and scopes can be purchased online.
I want to see people disarmed. Permits. They actually I want people disarmed in our major cities. How's that for a plan?
We cannot let a minority of people hold a viewpoint that terrorizes the majority of people.
Could it be done on spur of the moment with a hunting rifle? Very easily, as long as it was a double-shot weapon. They can easily do it with something that you can purchase at a grocery store.
Say hello to my little friend.
I think the Second Amendment is in the Constitution so that we can have muskets when the British people come over in 1800.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Break yourself. Cuz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to New Shooting Self-Defense's Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul. Sans Dimitri. Dimitri could not make it here today, and I'm just a little bit upset about that because Dimitri is on a special assignment. I'm not able to tell you about what that special assignment is, but let's just say that he was last seen somewhere around Ohio. I don't know what I'm implying there. You heard nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard nothing. Disregard all that stuff that you heard. Dimitri is not here because he's given blood or something noble, because he's noble, because we're all noble. We're on this show, and we're doing this show because we're noble, because from our freedoms, we're doing this show. If we do enough of these podcasts, we're confident that just by doing these podcasts, we will free the world of tyranny for good. We figure it's probably going to take about 600. I think once we reach the 600th podcast of this show, Full Auto, that magically liberty will be achieved worldwide. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to support Full Auto, support Dimitri and myself. And by the way, this counts as an episode. Even though Dimitri's not here, it does not require that both of us are here for this to be counted as an episode. So, for instance, if Dimitri were to do this show... Oh, my kidding. Dimitri do a show by himself. Come on, you guys have heard Dimitri. You know what he sounds like. You know that I carry the show anyway. So this is just a natural fit. No, seriously, I'm missing Dimitri this week. It's not the same, but it's still awesome. This is awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to talk Blast from the Past. Blast from the Past. Retracing the history, recent and distant, of self-defense. In this edition of Blast from the Past, we're going to talk the Great Gender Equalizer. We're going to take a little bit back at recent history and a little bit further back at more distant recent history as we examine how gun control is unfairly, unjustly, and patriarchally targeting one specific group, women. In the recent episode, we talked about how gun control is racist. Well, gun control is also sexist. I don't know, when I say sexist, should I always say sexist? Or is it enough for me when you guys hear me say in a calm, rational tone, sexist, that what you really should hear, what's going on in my head every time I say the word sexist, is sexist? At some point, Dimitri would have interrupted here and probably defended the feminists and gun control. So, since I don't have him here taking his usual pro-progressive... Oh, who am I kidding? Dimitri. Pro-progressive. Come on. Anybody who's listened to the show knows that Dimitri is definitely not pro-progressive. So we're going to start looking at an article in the Daily Caller. And this is about January, February or so this past year. And this is when we're still discussing the ascendancy of King Hillary, which didn't happen. But Barack Hussein Obama, he held himself a town hall meeting in which he was discussing gun control. And he took some questions from some folks in this town hall meeting, and he got something that he didn't expect. But let's go to the article. This article was written by Ben Shapiro, I believe. So, reading the article here, it says, Obama would rather disarm Americans than allow them to fight their rapists. That's the takeaway message from a stunning exchange at Thursday night's gun control town hall event on CNN. Kimberly Corbett, a 2006 rape survivor, asked Obama why he wanted to crack down on guns when women can use guns to protect themselves from rapists. And this is her question. As a survivor of rape, and now a mother to 2 small children, it seems like being able to purchase a firearm of my choosing and being able to carry that where me and my family are, it seems like my basic responsibility as a parent at this point. I have been unspeakably victimized once already, and I refuse to let that happen again to myself or my kids. So why can't your administration see that these restrictions that you're putting to make it harder for me to own a gun or are harder for me to take that or harder for me? Let me reread that. Dimitri isn't here to keep me focused. So why can't your administration see that these restrictions that you're putting to make it harder for me to own a gun or harder for me to take that where I need to be is actually just making my kids and I less safe? Now, after still continuing with the article, this is what Ben Shapiro wrote. After pattering on about his sympathy for Corbyn and his unearned and patronizing pride for her, no tears for her rape, notably, Adama, Captain Adama, that's a Battlestar Galactica reference. Obama denied that any of his actions would make it more difficult for her to obtain a weapon. Derp! You lie! You lie! He completely ignored that he, like other Democrats, fights concealed carry weapons permits at every turn, which would necessarily restrict her ability to carry a weapon where it needs to be carried. Then he got to his real point. Women don't deserve, this is Ben Shapiro writing, women don't deserve guns because they are incapable of defending themselves. Now, to be fair, Obama didn't exactly say that. But let's just read what he actually did say. There are always questions as to whether or not having a firearm in the home protects you from that kind of violence. Let me interrupt you there. There are always, really, I don't know how many always questions there are on that front. Of course, I got some studies coming up ahead here that shows that asking that question is proof of either idiocy, well, 3 things, idiocy, blind ignorance, or willing manipulation of reality to produce the outcome that you want, which is to get everybody to be thinking that guns are useless. What is true is that you have to be pretty well trained in order to fire a weapon against someone who is assaulting you and catches you by surprise. What is also true is always that possibility that firearm in the home leads to a tragic event. If I was going to do an imitation of Barack Hussein Obama, it would be something like this. Teleprompter, That's my Barack Obama. So let's go to the gun study. Gun Owners of America. This is from redstate.com. By the way, redstate.com on the list of false news sites listed by a progressive feminist professor, a fat studies professor that all the media took seriously. Gun Owners America dug up some very interesting facts, according to this article. First, a 1989 study that found that both male and female survey respondents judged a gun to be the most effective means that a potential rape victim could use to defend off the assault. Rape experts considered it a close second after eye gouging. Second, raw data from the 1979 to 1985 installments of the Justice Department's annual National Crime Victim Survey shows that when a woman resists a stranger rape with a gun, the probability of completion was 0.1%. That means about 1,000, 1 in every 1,000 thereabouts. It's if I did the math there right. And a victim injury, 0%, compared to 31% success rate. So that's when there's an attempted rape, 31 out of 100 times the attempt is completed when the victim doesn't have a gun. When the victim has a gun, it's only completed 1 in 1,000 times. So let's go ahead and look back to that statement there. There are always questions as to whether or not having a firearm in the home protects you from that violence. Well, actually, yeah, there's pretty conclusive evidence that shows that asking that question is, as I said, it's a demonstration of your idiocy, your lack of ignorance, or your rather intentional manipulation of reality to produce the outcome that you desire. See, you can't be a feminist and at the same time be for not empowering women, which is what a gun does. A gun levels the playing field for women, and there's other level playing fields that occur, but I'll just stay focused on women here. So in order for the progressives to, in one hand, lobby for us not to have guns, they have to also lie, obfuscate, manipulate the facts, do whatever they have to do to say, listen, women, it's not that we're not for empowering you, it's just that a gun doesn't empower you. Lies, 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 lies. When in fact, a gun does empower a woman. It completely levels the playing field against someone who may be more physically dominant than them. And despite what other folks will tell you, generally speaking, there are physical differences between women and men. And there are plenty of women out there who could totally kick my butt. But most women of comparable where I'm at as compared to men, if women compared to other women, I could probably kick their butt because I'd be more physically dominant. And that's true, just across the board on average. So a gun levels the playing field. So, in conclusion, gun control is sexist, and the progressives really are not looking to protect women. They're really looking to protect their true Lord and God, a central controlled power, which is more important to them than a woman's right to self-protection. We're about ready to hit break here, so on the other side, we're going to be going to Tac Tec, and we're going to be looking at new bang for your buck.
Let's face it. Everybody hates politicians and most government policies.
And most libertarian shows spend their time talking about the non-aggression principle, philosophy, and who would build my roads.
But not Liberty Lampoon. Every week we lambaste politicians, public figures, policies in print, all from a libertarian perspective.
No one is safe. Our offensive interludes, brash rhetoric, and ad hominem attacks are just what the doctor ordered.
We applaud those other shows for their good work. But at the end of the day, someone's got to call these monsters out. Look for Liberty Lampoon on your favorite podcast platform.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Liberty Lampoon for the most up-to-date hate speech against the state.
So you started a local business, and you're just waiting for the people to beat a path to your site. And waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Well, you can keep on waiting, or you can get results with Regal Blue Media. Get the results you want. More sales, more influence, votes, donors, whatever. Regal Blue Media offers a full range of new media and traditional media services for companies and organizations to communicate effectively and achieve their desired results. Well-connected, experienced, and highly ethical, we strive to meet your expectations and then exceed them time after time. Whatever your project, whether big or small, we have the people and the tools to serve you and make you a success. Call 717-503-1645 and schedule your free consultation today. Or visit us at regalbluemedia.com. That's regalbluemedia.com.
Tired of those guns that don't shoot themselves? Do you wish you, too, had one of those guns that shoots 30 clips a second? How about a gun with a bullet button that will convert your single-shot bolt-action rifle to an automatic assault weapon? Well, have we got the gun for you? You've heard all those politicians talking about this gun, but you didn't think it was real, right? Well, it's real. It's called the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. That's right, the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. And now you can buy this gun for only $5 by just calling this number 1-800-GET-A-GUN. That's 1-800-GET-A-GUN. Just give us an address and pay COD when we deliver it. The Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. Finally, an automatic assault weapon that will mow down your neighbors all by itself.
Brought to you by the makers of Invisible Passports, the indestructible passport for the savvy terrorist that wants to make sure people remember him after he's gone. This gun may not be available in any of the 50 states or in any of the countries that exist on the planet today. If you do actually call 1-800-GET-A-GUN, you might not actually get through to an operator that's actually selling the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. This is a parody commercial intended to trigger the chimneys of your gun-phobic, state-worshipping friends.
Wait a minute, Dad. I haven't finished Dick Tracy.
You can't read?
Okay, read to me.
Oh, okay. Now, let's see. Tracy's trapped by the crooks. Gee, he's in a real tough spot.
Oh, boy, I'll draw my Dick Tracy snub-nosed 38, and I'll... See that shooting shell, Dad? Fire screen stick-em caps, too.
Well, let's get back.
Then I'll pull back the bolt, and I'll blast my way out with Mattel's Dick Tracy Tommy Burst. You can borrow the burst caps, or shoot one at a time.
I thought you wanted to read Dick Tracy.
Not now. I think he's on television.
You can get Mattel's fabulous new Dick Tracy Snub-Nose 38 pistol and special belt holster, or the exciting Tommy Burst machine gun for $3 each. They're the only official Dick Tracy guns. And remember, you can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Full Auto is intended for purely entertainment purposes and in relation to any actual person living or dead is purely coincidental. We are not responsible for the results that might befall you should you ever actually take our advice about anything. Full Auto is a Zip-Cot no-gov licensed show. This means you are free to reuse this content any way you see fit, so long as you are not a representative or advocate of government. For more information, go to vipcot.org. And now, without further delay, here are your hosts, Dimitri and Paul.
Welcome back to New Shooting Self-Defenses with Dimitri and Paul Sans Dimitri. What we're up to here? Well, we promised you bang for your gun, and that's what we're going to discuss on this. Welcome back, everybody. This is Paul Gordon with Dimitri, except Dimitri isn't there. And this is Full Auto, featuring Dimitri and Paul, sans Paul, but it's still Full Auto. Paul is both Paul and Dimitri together all at once. We are into Tac Tec, and the topic for Tac Tec for this edition is new bang for your buck. We're going to look at a couple new offerings that may excite our gun enthusiasts with new ammo possibilities.
Tac Tec, the high and low tech and tactics of self-defense.
The first thing we're going to look at is an article in Popular Mechanic, and the title of the article is "This Experimental Armory Rifle Uses Telescope Ammunition." So this is from Textron, is the name of the company, and they just unveiled a new rifle at the Modern Day Marine Conference. And this rifle is custom made to use what's called, quote unquote, telescoped ammunition. And it's billed as being a harder hitter. It's a lighter bullet, which is designed for ground troops. Wonder how long it'll take to get into civilian hands. One can only hope. So the traditional bullet cartridges, according to this article, have a bullet seated. Well, this is true. roughly halfway inside a brass shell casing with gunpowder inside the casing. By contrast, the new rifle uses a 6.5 millimeter polymer case telescoped bullet. Telescoped rounds feature a bullet completely encased in a polymer shell like a shotgun, with gunpowder surrounding the bullet in a shell. The result is a cartridge that doesn't use brass, a considerable savings in weight. According to the KidOp blog, telescoped ammunition is about 40% lighter than traditional ammo. Textron could have channeled this weight saving, well, okay. But what it ends up doing is the rifle and 20 rounds of ammunition only weighs about 9.7 pounds compared to the standard M4A1 with 30 rounds weighing in at 8.74 pounds. And Textron says that the new 6.5 millimeter telescoped round has 300% more energy than the U.S. Army standard bullet, which translates into greater knockdown power against human targets, more armor penetration, and longer range. A heavier bullet and more energy would solve a persistent complaint about the U.S. Army's M4A1 carbine, that the smaller 5.56 millimeter bullet often requires multiple hits to incapacitate a target. So I'm looking forward to getting access to that ammo. I'm going to move on to Lehigh Defense, which has a new bullet called the Extreme Cavator. And this is according to Lehigh Defense. They're introducing a low-pressure cartridge through advanced projectile design and manufacturing called the Extreme Cavator. It's the first cartridge being the Venerable 32. Okay, let me read that. So what they've announced is that there's the Extreme Cavator, and the first version of it's going to be the 32 ACP, and I think they plan on doing other cartridges. So the Extreme Cavator uses a unique geometry to form a vapor pressure spike at the nose, blanketing the flank of the bullet with a long envelope of air as it passes through media, eliminating side drag, yes, and allowing deep penetration. So all bullets create cavitation. However, this one creates a lot more cavitation because of its unique nose and an air reservoir groove to accentuate the effect. How does 13.5 inches of penetration from a 32 ACP and 10% gel sound? That is a bullet that I look forward to. I look forward to seeing Trout Indoors, whatever his name is. He does all those tests. I want to see if he's tested that. I'll look that up too, and you should look that up. TN Outdoors or whatever his name is. Just look up Test Extreme Cavitator. If he's done it, you'll find it. So that's the end of this little segment, which would have been a longer segment if Dimitri was with us, but he isn't. So on the other side, the break is just about to come up. We're going to discuss in defense assault, knife shooter assault. That's right, when a knife guy is a shooter, a knife shooter. And this is, of course, about the Ohio shooting, how the media covered it, and what it tells us. So we'll see you on the other side of the break.
If you're tuning into this broadcast, freedom is obviously important to you. But unfortunately, whatever small fraction of freedom you have left is disappearing rapidly as leviathanic governments continue to pass law after law restricting your natural right to your person and property. You also know that freedom can't be won through the slave suggestion system known as politics. Things can seem hopeless, but freedom is more possible than you realize. Liberty Under Attack presents the Direct Action Series, your guide to finding freedom now without asking for permission. It includes over 40 hours of pure solutions presented to you in an advertisement-free format with bonus content. You can get your copy of the Direct Action Series for only $10. And, while supplies last, you'll receive an LUA Voluntarist koozie for simply supporting LUA. What are you waiting for? Visit libertyunderattack.com/freedom now to secure your copy today. Again, libertyunderattack.com/freedom now. And make sure to tune in to LUA Radio Live at 7 p.m. Central every Thursday and Sunday on the Freedom Phalanx Radio Network.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, who do you call when the police are harassing you? What if you're an activist and need help? Who do you trust enough to ask for help when your car breaks down or when you're being bullied at school or need medical help? What about a terrorist attack or a mass shooting? Well, Cell 411 is a fantastic new app that allows you to issue real-time emergency alerts to your family, neighbors, or friends, to one of them or many, in an instant with the tap of a finger. The emergency alert includes your exact GPS coordinates, and your trusted friends will get turn-by-turn directions to your location so they can come and help you in need. You'll be notified of an ETA, who's coming to help you, and when they'll arrive at your location. All this happens within seconds. Cell 411 is changing the way humans are handling emergencies all over the world. And the best thing about it is that it's completely free. It's not dependent on government or decades-old analog telephone networks to function. Whether you're a student, parent, neighborhood watcher, or activist, this app is for you. Give it a try and download it today from getcell411.com.
All right, now how you spell this? 1 and then 800 is 2 zeros, right? All right, so get. Wait a minute, how do I type letters? I don't know how to dial letters. Oh, there are little letters next to the numbers. Okay, that might be it. So G is for E, T, A, G, O. No, U, N. All right. Give me one of them guns, mow down everybody. It's going to be great.
Thank you for Delta Machinery Inquiry Service.
What?
Press 1 to locate the Delta distributor nearest you, or for product information. Press 2 for technical service, or to order parts directly from Delta. Press 3 for the number of the Delta International Machinery headquarters.
Delta International Machinery makes guns?
Options.
All right, let me go 1. Product service.
Thank you for calling Miss South Anesthesia Consultants. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If this is a true medical emergency, please hang up and dial 911 or go to the nearest emergency room.
Medical emergency?
If you're concerning a routine office matter, please press 0 to speak with the after-hours dispatcher.
What?
If you're a researcher,
No, I just need one of them guns.
have questions for the doctor.
No, I need that gun that mows people. Lady, can you hear me? I need a gun that mows everybody down. I tell you what, that guy in that show told me about it. Wait, what? No! You disconnected me. Oh, hell, it's terrible customer service, man. I'll just go back to Smith & Wesson.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Defense. Well, I should start from the beginning. Welcome to New Shooting Self-Defense. Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul Sons. We're going to be discussing coming up defense assaults. And in defense assault, we're going to be looking at the Ohio State shooting that happened yesterday and how that unfolded in the media, and some misconceptions about Tim Kaine and the tweet that he put out. The tweet that he put it out. That's a new word, put it out. That's when you put something out and it's so stupid that when people try to say put out, the stupid, it contaminates their brain. So instead of saying put out, they say put it out, because his tweet, if you took it literally, you would think that it was pretty stupid, and your brain would be like, well, what, he put it out, a stupid tweet. Did I say put it? And then every time you try to say put, it still comes out put it, because it's still in the back of your mind. And this segment is going to be called Knife Shooter Assault. I just want to say a couple words here real quick on a couple things. We are looking on our show to expand how we broadcast the show. Right now we're doing Spreaker.com and we're doing IPMNation.com. We may have a live stream version of the show where you actually will hear us record the show and see us too, possibly. You may hear us and see us record the show live, and then later on you folks who don't catch that, or if you want to listen to the more polished, edited version, you can listen to the more polished, edited version. So you get a little behind the scenes. So we record our segments, and we do a little talk in between, and you'll hear all that. And we'll probably have to be nice and not talk about all the people that we talk about in secret when nobody's recording. We'll probably try to monitor that. At any rate, why don't you go ahead and get yourself prepared for this episode or edition of Defense Assault, which is called Knife Shooter Assault. And when you hear the story, well, folks probably already heard the story. So I think you understand why it is that we're calling the show Knife Shooter Assault.
Defense Assault. Facing the assault on our defense.
Welcome back. That's right. This is still Paul, all by himself. All by myself. Wanna be all by myself. But I am. That's right, I'm all by myself. Dimitri abandoned me. But yet, I soldier on because I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier for freedom. And this is Knife Shooter Assault. On this edition of Defense Assault, we're going to talk about the Ohio State shooting. First of all, we're going to start with where we're at right now as of recording this show, which I'm actually recording on the day the show is being broadcast. An Ohio State University student, this is from NBC News. I want you to carefully listen to what goes on here. An Ohio State University student posted a rant shortly before he plowed a car. You'll know why I'm laughing in a second here. Into a campus crowd. I'm not laughing at him plowing into a crowd, okay? I'm not laughing at that. And stabbed people with a butcher knife. Nor am I laughing at that. In an ambush that ended when a police officer shot him dead. I may kind of be... No, I'm not laughing at that, a law enforcement official said. Abdul Razak Ali Artan, 18, wrote on what appears to be his Facebook page that he had reached a boiling point, made a reference to lone wolf attacks, and cited radical cleric Anwar al-Awlaki. America, stop interfering with other countries, especially Muslim Ummah, which means community. We are not weak. We are not weak. Remember that, the post said. 2 hours before that, a cryptic post on the page said, "Forgive and forget. Love." Officials caution that they have not determined a motive for the ambush. That's where the laugh comes in. Oh, you think about that. They caution that they have not determined a motive for the ambush. We're doing this because you guys are doing bad things to Muslim countries. But what's the motive? What's the motive? Oh, we got to figure this out. Man, I would like to be a detective hired on that venture, getting some overtime pay, putting in the long hours, trying to figure out that motive. You know, he did say that he was doing this because of what America was doing to other Muslim countries. I know he said that, but what was the motive? We got to think about that. We got to do some more studies. So a senior law official told NBC News that investigators are trying to determine whether Ortan had personal problems or something else that may have pushed him over the edge. In other words, the detectives want to get some overtime pay. Is that mean? Is that mean of me to say that? Is that mean of me to suggest that people will exploit this tragedy, which nobody died but the shooter, which is good. It's good. To their own end. I don't know. I don't think I'm being mean. I think I'm being kind of accurate there. Of course, you got to go against that. It was a Muslim terrorist act because progressives are against that narrative. However, I also am not against the overblown, stereotypical Muslims did it kind of attack. But I'm also not against people kind of citing reality. If it was a Christian that did this in the name of Christianity, as a Christian myself, I'd be like, yeah, you should run with that. You should let that be known. But it's a Muslim, and he did it because he had a very strange version of Islam, I'll say. And I don't know percentages of what Muslims follow, what versions of Islam. But I do know this. I do know that I have friends. This is the old, but I have a friend whose story. And yes, I have friends that are Muslim that I have no fear whatsoever ever going to plan to do something like this. But that's maybe a topic for another show. So we're going to go and look at actually, we're going to go over to MSN.com. And MSN.com, they have a timeline where they keep showing the updates. And it started with shooting reported at Ohio State. That's right, shooting reported at Ohio State. All these credible, that's in quotes, by the way, in light of the whole fake news thing, it's kind of ironical that all these credible news sources immediately put out that a shooting was reported at Ohio State. And it says, ATF says Columbus Field Division agents are responding to report of active shooter at Ohio State campus. That's right, active shooter. And then they added this, editor's note, we're looking into reports that a suspect in the Ohio State University shooting is dead, citing police sources. The campus newspaper is also reporting on a possible situation involving a suspect at a parking garage. We will post more, blah, blah, blah. Later, they reported this. At least 2 men seen on video being taken into custody a short while ago at OSU parking garage. Unclear whether suspects in shooting. Editor's note. The ATF field office in Columbus tells NBC News it is not clear whether the incident, here we go, on Ohio State's campus is a shooting, stabbing, or other type of attack. And you know the moment that it was changed from shooting to something else, there was some inconvenient truth that was about ready to happen. Witnesses have also told WCMH that several victims who had evacuated buildings appeared to have been run down by a vehicle. That part turns out, sadly, to be true. We're watching for more on the number, blah, blah, blah. So this is from Daily Caller here, and this is some wonderful tweets from some folks that they saw an opportunity. They saw a crisis, and they didn't want to let that crisis go to waste. So Tim Kaine says, deeply saddened by the senseless act of gun violence at Ohio State this morning. Yes, by the senseless act of gun violence. That's right. It's terrible. See, some people are criticizing Tim Kaine, saying like, dude, but they didn't get his point. Tim Kaine knew that the guy tried to kill people with his car, then he tried to kill people with his machete, but what happened was a guy with a gun stopped him. The problem was the guy he stopped was a Muslim Somali, so the guy with the gun was racist. If the racist hadn't been there to stop the Somali Muslim, the Muslim Somali, the racist, bigoted, whatever, then this senseless act of racism and bigotry wouldn't have happened. This gun violence. So that's all that Tim Kaine was saying. You guys are being a little bit hard on him. And then some woman named Ann T. Donahoe. She has one of those check marks by her Twitter account, so she must be somebody that people know. She said, "It sure would be presidential for Trump to use Twitter to condemn gun violence right about now, which is likely why it isn't happening." See, that's the thing. Again, you're mistaken in believing that she's criticizing, thinking that it was an act of a gun that the dude shot people. But no, she was saying that the gun snuffed out the life of a Muslim Somali, and that's racist and bigoted, and it wouldn't have happened if there had been a gun there. And then Reginald Watkins, also one of those little verification checks, I don't know who he is, said, "Get rid of guns." And I love this from the Tennessee GOP. Why the HE double hockey sticks? Gun control is trending after machete attack on Ohio State University. Well, I just explained it to you. It's trending because it was racist and bigoted of the cop to shoot the Muslim Somali. And by the way, I got nothing against Muslims, Somalis. I am not afraid of people coming into this land. So let's just get that out there. What I am afraid of is progressives who use emergency moments to try to fear people into legitimizing state control over our lives. That is what I'm against. And on the last note here, going back to MSNBC, White House's, oh, that's my doggy, that's my dog. White House's Josh Earnest, if we respond to Ohio State shooting by casting dispersions on a particular religion, we're more likely to contribute to more violence. We're just about done with this segment, and it couldn't happen in a sooner time because my dog is going crazy. I believe the mailman is here. My doggy don't like it. On the other side, we get to happy endings, so stay tuned.
The Freedom Fiends now have a free app for your Android phone, tablet, phablet, or other chromed robot turd, available now from the Google Play Store, Amazon, and freedomfiends.com. Lovingly handcrafted by head hamster Michael W. Dean, the artisanal Freedom Fiends radio app allows you to listen live, keep up with the podcast, chat directly with other fiends, get discounts on bigger buttons, brainwash yourself with a 24/7 random episode, and so much more. You know the Freedom Fiends is the best libertarian radio show in the world, but when the Fiends aren't live, you can use the app to listen to LRN.FM from anywhere. The Freedom Fiends radio app is like having a virtual libertarian re-education camp in your pocket. It's your gateway to the exclusive high-demand group that is the Freedom Fiends. Install the Freedom Fiends radio Android app today. It's free, and of course, it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Tell 2 friends. Review it on Google Play and Amazon. Prepare for the inevitable death of terrestrial radio, and get ready for LibPair with the Freedom Fiends radio app for Android. Worms.
Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to life in prison for operating the Silk Road. But that's not the end of the story. Ross is trying to get out, but he needs your help. The free Rossathon is happening Sunday, December 4th from 2 to 10 p.m. Eastern, featuring Roger Ver, Cody Wilson, Doug Casey, Tom Woods, and dozens of equally seditious speakers. Go to freeross.org right now and register for this free event. It's a fundraiser for Ross's appeal, so prepare to be inspired. freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Tune in to Post Politics.
You know, and I'm like, I swear to God, I'll never forgive that bitch for as long as I live.
With Trip Q.
What a dick. You always gotta get ahead of me.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be one up in your ass, man.
And Zach Odom.
Nah, dude, today's been a rough day, man. I'm an asshole.
Where we believe in karma.
I like to say I deserved a daughter.
Right, yes.
You know.
Intellectual pop culture analysis.
You got a bunch of people talking country nowadays, and it's all pop music as far as I'm concerned.
I call it cunt pop, man.
Tune in on Wednesdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. Eastern to 11. You can listen to us on jrevradio.com, Raz Radio Live, and you can search us through the TuneIn app. This is Post Politics saying, turn on, tune in, rebel.
You are watching a demonstration of the most authentic cap pistol in the world. It has exclusive fanning action and shoots safe shooting shells with greeny stickum caps. The gun and hip-slung Mattel holster are specially made for a fast draw. All of Mattel's shooting shell fanners and holsters carry the true stamp of the Old West. And every boy will walk tall when he wears a holster and pistol with a Mattel brand. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
So you started a local business, and you're just waiting for the people to beat a path to your site. And waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Well, you can keep on waiting, or you can get results with Regal Blue Media. Get the results you want. More sales, more influence, votes, donors, whatever. Regal Blue Media offers a full range of new media and traditional media services for companies and organizations to communicate effectively and achieve their desired results. Well-connected, experienced, and highly ethical, we strive to meet your expectations and then exceed them time after time. Whatever your project, whether big or small, we have the people and the tools to serve you and make you a success. Call 717-503-1645 and schedule your free consultation today. Or visit us at regalbluemedia.com. That's regalbluemedia.com. Hey there, didn't see you. Why don't you come on in and, take your shoes off, sit down, relax. Let me ask you something. Do you take an airsoft gun to a gunfight? What do you think will happen if you take an airsoft gun to a gunfight? Well, that's the story that we're going to cover in Happy Endings. So brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And since Dimitri's not here, I don't have to listen to him say, use protection. No, Dimitri, it's use full protection. As the bump clearly demonstrates, it's use full protection. This is full auto, and on full auto, you got to use full protection, right? Right? Am I right? We don't use semi-protection. We're not about semi. We're about full. So brace yourselves for happy ending.
Happy ending. Remember, folks, use full protection.
Hey, that's right. Full protection, full protection, full protection, full protection. Dimitri's going to listen to this show, and when he hears it, the next time he comes on, which will hopefully be next week, he will remember it's full protection, and we'll have that whole protection, use protection thing taken care of. We're going to be reading here from 6abc.com, and this is a story that's actually in my backyard. I live in the Lehigh Valley, and I'm not ashamed to say that I live in the Lehigh Valley. Not that the Lehigh Valley is awesome, but it's pretty good. So, from Levittown, PA, investigators say a customer who shot two brothers who allegedly tried to rob a Bucks County pizza shop will not be charged. Now, there's some interesting circumstances here that definitely put this customer at risk. District Attorney Matt Weintraub said he had a license to carry. However, his permit had recently expired. So if we go by the letter of the law, this guy could have been charged with something. Officials say the man is a business owner who carried the gun for his own protection. So he's probably a dude of good standing in the community, for whatever that's worth. Not everybody who is in good standing in the community deserves to be, and maybe he deserved that, or maybe not. But Weintraub said, he is a lifelong, law-abiding citizen, and yes, you do get credit for that. So in other words, the letter of the law doesn't apply if you're a law-abiding citizen, lifelong law-abiding citizen. You get credit for that. So remember that, folks. Build up your lifelong law-abiding citizen credits while you can. A business owner who, back in, here's my old there. A business owner who had the gun solely for his own protection, and thank God he did. Meanwhile, police say that the brothers used the guns that the guns that the brothers used were actually, dude, airsoft guns. But this story, yeah, it's not like they just pulled airsoft guns out. No, there's more to this story. So this happened around 10 p.m. Tuesday of last week actually 2 weeks ago now. Porfirio's 2 Pizza and Pasta in the 900 block of Veteran Highway near Trenton Road. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows what that is. Everything happened so fast. Everything got crazy, Porfirio's co-owner Alex Laura said. Middletown Township Police said the customer and the 2 employees were inside when the 2 armed men entered the restaurant. They were wearing dark clothing, backpacks, had hoods up, face mask on, gloves, brandishing handguns, said the Middletown police dude. Police said that they were yelling commands at the customer, who complied, backed away, and put his hands up. So this is how it went out. When the armed suspect looked away for a moment, the customer pulled out a .45 caliber handgun from beneath his jacket. And for all you 45 ACP fans out there, that's right, 1 shot, 1 death. Yeah! The man who was killed, except it was 2 shots, 1 death, so one of them was injured. So 1 man was killed. He was identified as 24-year-old Sean Rose. And what happened, though, before that was they didn't just pull these airsoft guns out. The customer who actually did the shooting, according to the witnesses there, said he was pistol whipped. They were very aggressive. He was in imminent fear for his life and believed that was his only option to get out of there that night. And he probably didn't know they were airsoft guns. And I actually used to sell airsoft guns so some of them are quite realistic. The shop's other owner, Gilmore Porfirio, says he can't thank that customer enough. To me, he's part of the family now. He is the hero. Officials say security video captured the attempted robbery, pistol whipping, and the shooting. And the shop remained closed Wednesday, and it's since opened. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to go to our last this is a little mini break here. When we come back on the other side of that little mini break, we're going to go ahead. You know, I love that phrase, go ahead. I love saying it. We're going to go ahead. We're going to wind the show up and get you all toasty and warm and prepared for next week's show where Dimitri will be back.
Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Full Auto across our network. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Full Auto Show. On Spreaker, you can find us at Spreaker.com/show/Full Auto. We post our latest episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/C/State of Wake Show. And if you want to write to us, you can email us at show@fullautoshow.com. For all of the links and latest news on our show, go to our website at fullautoshow.com.
Well, we're welcoming you back. This is New Shooting Self-Defense's Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul Sans Dimitri. Really missed you, buddy. Really looking forward to having you back next week. It's definitely not the same doing the show by myself. But the show must go on, and the show did go on, and now the show is coming to an end. This exciting episode of Full Auto where we talked about sexism and gun control, and we talked about the Ohio shooting where people mistook Tim Kaine's seemingly idiotic tweet out of context and didn't realize that what he was really saying was it was racist and bigoted to shoot a Somali Muslim who had just run over a bunch of people and was hacking away at them with a machete. I mean, that makes actual more sense than if he had meant it the other way around. Jumping the gun? No. Jumping the gun? I can't imagine a thing like that. So I don't have Dimitri here to give his Greek farewells of any kind, so I'm going to give you an English farewell of some kind, which is, may the road rise to meet you. That's how we're going to end this episode. We're going to end the episode with may the road rise to meet you. Join us next week. the same bat time, same back channel, Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul, that Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, available on Spreaker and IPMNation.com, and soon coming to a Facebook page near you. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and may the road rise to meet you.